In any language, those first few words you say can make or break a whole conversation. If you get them right, you connect. But if you get them wrong, things can get pretty awkward fast. So today, we are going to unpack that huge difference between formal and informal French, all through a simple story set in a Montreal cafe. Let's see how it's done right.
So, here's our plan. We're going to follow our main character, Thomas, through 3 little scenes: a casual chat with a friend, a more serious meeting with a director, and then how he says his goodbyes. And after that, we'll break down the code, so you'll know exactly what to say and when to say it.
All right, I want you to picture this. A super cozy cafe on the Plateau Montreal in Montreal. Our hero, Thomas, he's new to the city and he's about to learn a really, really important lesson in what we call social context. His challenge seems simple, but it's absolutely critical: choosing the right words for the right person.
And scene. We're starting with the basics, the ground rules for informal, everyday French. This is the kind of language you're going to use with your friends, the easygoing stuff. So, right away, we're in what's called a situation informelle. What does that mean? Well, it's just any relaxed, casual setting. Think about chatting with friends, your family, or people your own age. The rules aren't strict here. It's all about being comfortable and familiar.
Okay, so the very first thing you do is say hello, right? In French, we call this saluer à l'arrivée. And believe it or not, this one word you choose right at the beginning sets the tone for the entire conversation. It's probably the most important choice you'll make.
Allô, saisis ses frais et says,
Allô, salut Luc. Let's pause right there and break that down.
okay, check out the difference here. Thomas uses allô, which is a super common, really informal hello you'll hear all over Quebec. Then he follows it up with salut, which is the standard informal hi pretty much everywhere. What's important is what he doesn't say. He doesn't use bonjour. That's for a totally different kind of situation. So Luc replies, Salut Thomas, comment ça va? See? He throws that informal salut right back. And then he asks the classic, friendly question, comment ça va? Honestly, this is your go-to, all-purpose, informal way to ask someone how they're doing.
And Thomas's response? It's just pure Quebecois charm. He says, Pas pire toi, comment vas-tu? Pas pire literally means not worse, but it's a super common way to say not bad. Now, look closely at those 2 key informal markers. Toi, which means you, and the way he asks, comment vas-tu? That tu form is a dead giveaway that you're in a casual chat.
Of course, if he wanted to be even simpler, he could have just said bien. It just means good or well. A perfect straight-to-the-point reply for a casual talk. And just like that, our first informal exchange is done. So just as Thomas is getting all settled and comfortable, the cafe door swings open. A new person walks in, and with her, well, the rules of the game are about to change completely. The whole vibe is about to shift.
Now we're in a situation formal. A formal situation is all about politeness, a little bit of distance and respect. You use this when you're talking to strangers, older people, authority figures like your boss or a school director, basically anyone you don't know well.
Thomas, he switches gears instantly. He stands up and says, Bonjour, madame, comment allez-vous? Did you catch that? Salut is gone. It's replaced by the polite, universal bonjour. And he completely changed how he asks, how are you? And this, right here, is the crucial point. With his friend Luc, Thomas used comment vas-tu? With Madame Lefebvre, he has to use comment allez-vous? They both mean how are you, but one uses the informal you, tu, and the other uses the formal you, vous. This is probably the single most important rule in French social etiquette. Tu is for buddies, vous is for respect. Madame Lefebvre's reply is just as formal. She says, Je vais très bien, merci, et vous allez bien? Notice she says très bien, very well, which is a little stronger than just bien. She added a polite merci, or thanks, and then she returns the question with another formal phrase, vous allez bien. Let's put these side by side, because this makes the difference crystal clear. To return the question to his friend, Thomas could say, et toi? But with Madame Lefebvre, the only right answer is the formal et vous. It's such a small switch, but it signals a massive difference in respect. All right, the day is winding down, the cafe is about to close. Thomas has managed to handle 2 very different conversations like a champ. But hold on, there's one last test. Saying goodbye the right way to 2 different people. That's right. You think a goodbye is just a goodbye, but nope. Even your goodbyes, what we call saluer au départ, have to match the situation. Just like your hellos, you can't use the same word for everyone. First, Thomas turns to the director and says, Au revoir, madame. À bientôt. Au revoir is the standard, always polite, always correct way to say goodbye. It fits any formal situation perfectly. And à bientôt means see you soon, which keeps that polite, slightly formal tone going. Then he turns to Luke, and the tone just snaps right back to casual. Bye, Luke. Salut. Bye is, borrowed from English, and it's super common and informal. And look, salut is back. In informal French, salut is amazing. It works for both hello and goodbye. So we've watched Thomas handle these two conversations. What's the big takeaway here? Let's just break down the code once and for all. This table really just lays it all out. You've got the informal path with Luke, using greetings like salut, questions with tu, and casual goodbyes like bye. Then you have the formal path with Madame Lefebvre, which demands bonjour, questions with vous, and polite goodbyes like au revoir. It's like they're two different languages, running side by side. When you get right down to it, it all boils down to this. You've got to master the two main social contexts in French. There's the informal world of tu and the formal world of vous. Figuring out when to use which isn't just about grammar. It's about showing that you get the culture, that you're showing respect. It is the key to unlocking real, natural conversation. So the next time you find yourself in a French-speaking cafe, just remember that your very first word sets the stage for everything that comes after. So which path are you going to choose? The path of tu or the path of vous? Because as you now know, that choice says everything.